Linders. Our Flower Mart season is coming to an end, so don't miss our 50% off sale with fresh plants arriving daily. Remember, that's 50% off annuals, perennials, roses, and many varieties of shrubs, and all at 50% off. Remember, that's 50% off everything in our Flower Mart, so get growing and save at Linders Flower Mart.
Get growing now with Linders.
Welcome back to the show. From roses to hydrangeas and everything in between, growers are constantly coming up with new and inventive hybrids. But what are the pros and cons of these unique varieties? Mark Armstead from Linders is here to tell us a little bit about that today. Good to see you here.
Good morning.
We're so about currently having things that are more sustainable and environmentally friendly, and there's a push in some circles in gardening to go with things that are more natural rather than the hybrid.
There is. There seems to be a greater divide, I think, today than we've seen before. I mean, you have your purist, you know, your gardening purist.
Yeah.
And as I was thinking about this topic, I realized I'm kind of on that level. And then there are those that they want new. It's got to be new. I want the newest, latest, greatest.
Sure. Well, and there's no question in terms of picture perfect for beautiful. I mean, we wouldn't have this, would we?
Correct, exactly.
And this was the rage, what, how many years ago was this one now?
Oh
this
boy.
Came out about 5, 6 years?
Yeah, probably
Maybe,
5 years
yeah.
ago.
And it's beautiful. I mean, they are beautiful. So is there a balance in there? Is that how you feel we should approach that?
Well, I guess more so I worry about taking the charm out of gardening. You know, I do garden talks around town, and I always, one of my current lines is that I love to grab a cup of coffee and I walk out in my garden every day to see how it's changed, to see what's new for the day, to see if anything's kind of fading out and something new is coming in. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I love living in Minnesota, is because we have those 4 seasons. We should be gardening 4 seasons, and so that whole change in seasons.
I always say you really are a passionate person if you garden here, because at the window of time, but each season, as you say, has a different thing that it offers. How do you care for these kinds of plants?
It's just really starting from the ground up. It's making sure that the soil that you garden in is a nice rich soil. There's a lot of plants here, you know, when you're talking about the being more sustainable, going towards natives. I mean, most of these native plants, they don't require anything. Plant them in sand and they just take off.
Tell us about what you brought in here.
Well, what I did is I picked out certain plants that have really kind of been mile markers on our industry. With the Endless Summer, like you mentioned, into the echinaceas with the Chicago Botanical Gardens coming out with the different colors. Stella de Oro Daylily is another one. I mean, here are plants that have really kind of changed the way we look at gardening and what we should be focusing on. So starting with our echinacea here, the Chicago Botanic Gardens developed that first orange one, and since then they've come out with yellows, and they've really been kind of, I guess, fun with the naming of these macaroni and cheese, Easy Mac. I mean, there's just a ton of them out there now. And echinaceas used to be this kind of tall, raggy weed looking thing that was great in our gardens because it withstood the heat. Now they're even bringing them down in size, like our little petite wonder here. As we move into our Stella de Oro, daylilies typically bloom for 2 or 3 weeks out of the summer, and now here comes Stella de Oro. As soon as this thing is up and growing, it's starting to throw some flowers out, and it really blooms most of our summer.
I love them, actually. I think they are beautiful in the garden.
Oh, for sure. But it used to be this kind of long, grassy, weedy looking thing that just kind of created a hedge.
Sure. We have a Facebook question. We would want to take advantage of talking to our friends on the web. Ben B says, we moved into our house 3 years ago and inherited some raspberry bushes along the back edge of our garden. They're usually shaded but have grown rather large. However, every year they only get flowers, never any berries despite regular watering. We're considering getting rid of them after several years with no berries. Any idea what might be wrong or what we could do to bear some fruit?
Interesting. Well, I guess one of the things that stands out is the whole shady aspect. He says they're usually shady. So, I mean, raspberries do like full sun. They really require a good 6 hours or more. Will they grow in shade? Yes, but typically you don't get the flowers. So in this case, he's got the flowers, so why aren't they producing berries? My guess would be pollinizing. Maybe there's not a lot of bees out there that are pollinating these flowers to produce this fruit. So what I'd probably do is get in there, thin them out, give them another shot. You know, it's going to take a year to kind of bring them under control because they do get somewhat weedy. Cut out some of those really old canes, and it's usually those younger canes that are going to produce more flowers for them.
Can you bring in another type of plant material that might help with the pollination then?
You could cross-pollinize with another raspberry, but is it necessary? No.
Okay.
As long as the bees are
So
going
you
from
say
flower to
have some
flower.
patience, thin this out, and you wouldn't be ripping them out.
Right, yeah, that's the problem with raspberries is usually we leave them alone because, I mean, they've got the thorns for
Sure,
one.
sure.
We hate to get out there and thin them,
Yeah.
but you got to get rid of those 3-year-old canes, 3 years or older.
Well, good luck to you. Thank you for being here today, Mark. For more
Love it.
information about Lindner's, head to our show page on KARE11.com. It is under the News tab. Well, just